there too. If you wanted, once you gain access to the top part of the track, you could easily stay up there for as long as there's little interference from third parties. The bunting does stretch diagonally along the entire course using a kind of zigzag motion. This makes it overall slower than driving on the ground, which is mainly to deter players from abusing the high ground to interact less with other racers. Also, those umbrellas made of straw will bounce you up like the umbrellas on Koopa Troopa Beach, so skilled players will be able to time tricks off of the bunting into the straw umbrellas for some slick movement. My next change is going to be to the rapids. The rapid sections are going to have a few Dino Jungle style geysers jutting out of the water. And since they're on a slant, if you get blasted, you're gone, brother. On the longest stretch of water near the middle, I'm adding a small railing. Obviously, this makes it easier to not fall off the track, but with the geysers there, so is that threat. The railing is more for fun, if anything. I'm also extending this railing along the curve afterwards to connect to the railing near the next waterfall, so that this can feasibly be used as a shortcut. One of the main reasons this didn't really work as a shortcut in the older games is because that curve inwards was way too sharp. If you were mushroom boosting and took the corner too fast, you could easily lose control and fly off the course. This forces players to slow down and merge back into the top lane, which makes the whole point of the water as a shortcut completely useless. By adding this railing at the end of the track, it gives more racers more leeway so that they can go a little wild. They can mushroom boost through the rapids and ride the railing through the sharp curve while taking the most inward line possible. This cut could easily work with just one mushroom too, considering you can launch off the first geyser bump to jump most of the water. I'm also going to sprinkle in a few geysers along the regular parts of the track. This is for some fun tricking opportunities, as well as providing a nice hazard that will force racers to be more active in their routing on the course. These would work in tandem with the bunting, so you can purposefully blast off the geyser to land on one of them if you wanted. More use of verticality, which promotes more interesting ways to race. All of these little ways to gain speed snowball, so you're constantly just boosting around. Coupled with the fact that this track's layout is so short, I think it would leave players wanting more of the track in a good way. It combines some of that mindless fun of performing a lot of tricks that a track like Sight Bike Arena has with some of the more engaging ways to go about using the terrain to your advantage. People wanting to play more Yoshi Falls. I know, right? Since this track is for MKW, it needs to have an entrance, and also have good flow as part of a knockout tour. You'll be able to enter and exit the track through one of the river rapids that surrounds the area. You'll take a glider ramp off of one of the falls and fly towards the starting line. As for Knockout Tour, this is where you'll be able to go inside the giant egg, baby. There's going to be a long wooden bridge that connects at two ends of the track from one of the river rapids to the other. These are suspension bridges that create waves like Maple Treeway's Net and Wii. You'll drive into the giant egg, where inside is a hot tub sauna. There's various hot tubs as well as common areas with benches for guests that just want to sweat it out. Depending on which side you come from, you'll either ascend or descend a spiral ramp inside the egg. Frequently, you'll briefly drive on top of small hot tubs along the walls of the egg. At the bottom is one giant communal tub. You'll exit back onto the other side of the bridge and drive towards the rapids and exit the course. I find it fun to have the player find out that the giant egg, after all these years, ironically turns out to be one giant incubator in a sense. It seems like a very Nintendo kind of gag. But yeah, that's all my changes to Yoshi Falls.